That is no fun. No one likes kind of putting themselves in a situation to be judged. Everyone should feel loved and included in the house. So like if you never wear pink, don't wear pink. Wear what makes you feel beautiful. I mean, I still felt like $1,000,000. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lauren and welcome to this year's sorority recruitment / rush tips and tricks video. I asked you guys on my Instagram any questions that you had for sorority recruitment this year. If you're new here, my name is Lauren and I go to the University of Alabama. I am a Pi Beta Phi there and I am an upcoming junior. So I have gone through the rush process as a new potential member, coming in and trying to find their sorority, as well as I have been on the other side of rush as kind of trying to help these new members find their home. So looking at this overall, this video is just suggestions. This is just based off of my experience and the things that I have actually gone through as a PNM, which if I call something a PNM, that basically means a potential new member. That just means that you are going through sorority recruitment. I honestly love being in a sorority. I think that it is definitely worth the time, the energy, and the money. Also, just keep in mind throughout this video that I go to a large SEC school, that Greek life is very prominent here. So some questions that I will be answering might not be applicable for everybody. Again, I do not speak for my sorority. I do not speak for the university itself. I am just me, myself, and I just helping other girls out that are wanting to go through this process. I am so excited to be answering some questions. Let's get going with the video.
All alone in a room, but you're not laying next to me. Next to me, we get close.
So I actually have a ton of videos on my channel already. Last year I actually did like a sorority recruitment series where I went into detail on so many things, like what you should keep in your rush bag, outfits, kind of questions, my rush experience, things like that. So definitely if you are rushing, if you're wanting more information, you want to check out my channel more, definitely go check out those videos. I also have sorority rush weeks of me rushing other girls. I mean, my channel is just like a plethora of sorority content, so be sure to check that out if you are new. I loved going through rush. I loved prepping for rush and thinking of outfits and like, questions that they were going to ask me. I just love the overall process. Joining a sorority has helped me in so many different ways, and I really found some of my bestest friends in my sorority. I definitely highly encourage y'all to rush if that is something you're kind of on the edge about. I want this to kind of be your sign. Like, you should just sign up and you should just do it. I'm about to get going full into these questions. I don't know what questions I'm going to be answering. I just asked my friend to send some to me. So I'm going in this completely blind. You're getting my first reactions. So here we go. The first question is, how do you keep your energy levels up after such a long week? Honestly, I don't know how I did it. It was very, very long. At least for me, I think the rush process was, I know we had like 2 rounds of open house, which we were there from 8 in the morning to 7 or 8 in the evening. And then you had 2 rounds of philanthropy, 2 rounds of sisterhood, and then prep. So if you're kind of confused on what I'm saying, basically, at least in my experience, you go through different days in rush. So open house is where normally you go and meet all of the houses, you have conversations with girls in these houses, and then your pickings get slimmed down as the days progress. So the next day is philanthropy day, and that is where you learn about the sorority's philanthropy. After those couple days or day, whatever your university is doing, you move into sisterhood, and that is when you learn about the sisterhood, the love that the sorority has for their members and things like that. And then it moves on to pref. And normally for pref, at least at Bama, we had 2 houses. So, I mean, you slim down from, I think Bama has like 18 houses, 17 different sororities. You slim that down to 2. So this is really like, you need to figure out where your home is and everything like that. So, I mean, it is a long few days for sure. It's definitely some early mornings. Your emotions are getting pulled because you may get dropped from a house that you really, really like. And that is no fun. No one likes kind of putting themselves in a situation to be judged. But honestly, it was such an overall fun experience for me. I loved getting to know the different vibes of the house, the different girls in the house. I thought that it was so much fun. I looked forward to it every single day. Something that I did though to keep my energy levels up was definitely take time every single night to do some self-care, whether that be like, I think I split it up honestly, like throughout that week. Like one night, like Monday night, I did a face mask. The next night I might have done some teeth whitening. The next night I might have done like a pore strip, getting a manicure, pedicure, something like that to kind of treat myself and kind of keep like myself and like my mental health, my self-care top priority that week was so important. Also staying hydrated is so important, especially if you're rushing down in Bama, some sort of southern sorority, it gets hot. So definitely like replenishing yourself is very important. Is being in a sorority all that it's made out to be? Is it really as fun as it appears? It is a lot of fun. It's a great way to meet new people, get closer friends, build this sisterhood with your friends. I mean, I overall love it because something that I love about my sorority is that we're very inclusive, and obviously that can be hard to find sometimes. And I know that some girls, that's what they're afraid of whenever they're rushing. They're afraid that just because I don't look like this one girl or just because I don't dress like this one girl, I'm not going to be accepted, and that is not the case. Everyone should feel loved and included in the house. And if you're getting a vibe that you're not fitting in, that something's kind of off, I definitely would kind of reconsider and rethink your choices of maybe keeping that house the next few rounds. Do you think being in a sorority will help you with your career? I definitely think so. I think that it helps you with leadership positions and public speaking even. There's a lot of opportunities in your sorority, whether it be service hours, tutoring younger sisters, anything like that. It really gives you many opportunities to grow yourself. And also something that I like is normally like they'll email you like about internships, about scholarships, things like that, and interviews for more things so you can kind of prep yourself. I know that even some sororities do like interview preps and stuff like that specifically for their girls. So I think it definitely can help in a career. Why did you decide to join a sorority? So I am an older student. If you're new here, I took a few gap years after graduating high school. So I am 23 and just now becoming a junior. So part of the reason why I wanted to rush is join a sorority that loved me for me, that would be able to give me easy access to girls that were my age. I knew that it was going to be very difficult for me living in the dorms my freshman year and being in all freshman classes, being only around 18 to 19-year-olds. I knew that it was going to be difficult for me to kind of expand my friend group and like expand the horizons, I guess, at this very big university. Joining a sorority helped me find girls that were my age or in the same situation as me. Even throughout Rush, I found friends that joined a different sorority and I still talk to them to this day. We go to get Starbucks, we go to get lunch, whatever. It's just an overall really great experience. And I always watched girls on YouTube when I was younger about sororities, and I always wanted to join one and I always wanted to learn more about it. So personally, I joined it for the sisterhood part of it, but I also love everything else that my sorority has to offer me and help me along with my home away from home. What do we wear during Rush? So like I said, I have a video on my channel about Rush outfits already live that was posted in 2020, I believe. But overall, you want to dress very classy, very elegant, very cute. It's honestly up to you. Definitely don't change your style for Rush. You definitely want to put out the best version of yourself to these other people that you're going to talk to. So like if you never wear pink, don't wear pink. Like literally wear what makes you feel beautiful and what you love. I always say that like don't try just to change your outfit to fit in with another house. So for open house round, just from my experience of going to the university, you normally want to wear like a really cute sundress, maybe a romper. Some people say to not wear rompers. I wore a romper my first day and I got so many compliments on it. So honestly, just wear what you want to. And then I normally wear flats with that outfit, whether that be like ballet flats, some flat cute sandals, something like that. When it goes into philanthropy, Alabama actually gives us t-shirts, so that was good for me. I didn't have to worry about the t-shirt portion. I just had to worry about jewelry, shoes, and shorts. The shorts I wore were like a seersucker short and like a Lily Pulitzer short. I would suggest like bright, colorful colors while going through Rush. So then you move on to sisterhood, and if you're thinking of the days, each day gets progressively like nicer clothing. So going into sisterhood, I definitely would suggest a dress kind of up from a sundress, kind of like a boutique style dress, and that's I think when I started to wear like wedges, I think. And then going into pref, that is the most formal day of all. This is definitely something that you would wear to a wedding. A lot of girls decide to wear white to pref. I personally did. It made me feel very beautiful. So definitely thinking about your own style and taking that into consideration, but also sticking with the guidelines that your university and your Panhellenic has set up. Rush bag must have. So I also have a video on like full detail what I kept in my Rush bag. I'm gonna give you like my top three. My top three would be a reusable water bottle. Like I said, it gets very, very hot. I think I had like a cork sickle. You can bring a hydro flask, anything like that. They have a ton of great options at TJ Maxx. That's something that I should have said in the last question. Don't feel like you have to spend a bunch of money for sorority recruitment. I always went to Ross and TJ Maxx or secondhand stores to buy my things, and I mean, I still felt like $1 million. So even thinking about your Rush bag, any necessities or anything you can probably find like at TJ Maxx, Ross, Target, somewhere more inexpensive where you don't have to go buy like really expensive stuff. Also, don't bring your designer bags if you you have any. If that's what you do, definitely bring a bag where if it gets wet or something happens to it, you're not going to care. The second thing would be a portable fan. They have so many of these on Amazon. It's insane. Buy a good fan. Don't buy one of those like cheap fans that are like $2. If you're going to splurge on something for rush, splurge on the fan. And number 3 would be blotting sheets. Those saved my life during rush week. Tips to make the conversation stand out. So a lot of girls, obviously you want to stand out in conversations. You want these girls to remember you. And something that I did was found something that was personable to me that I thought that not a lot of people did or had this experience. So like for me, I was an older student. I used that to my advantage, I guess. I used that to kind of stand out from other people because that is something that not everyone else does. A lot of girls who are rushing with me, like I said, were 18 to 19. And I mean, I was rushing as a 21-year-old freshman. So that was definitely something that I got to talk more about. I got to talk about my gap years and what I did in between that. So definitely thinking about like what you did in high school. Like, you know, what was something really cool that you did in high school that you may think that not everyone else did? What happens if you do not like the girl you're talking to? Oh my goodness. Guys, okay, this happened in a couple houses. Specifically, I'm thinking about first round. I went into a sorority house, we're not gonna name it, and I was talking to this girl and she was so rude to me. She did not care about me. She just looked off. Like, she didn't ask me any questions. I was trying to make conversation. It was the worst experience that I had in rush for sure. Open house, you have the shortest conversation. So I believe I was only in there for like 10 minutes. So at least it wasn't like a 20, 30, 40-minute conversation I was having with this girl. But overall, just very awkward. She just wasn't interested. I don't know if she just wasn't interested in rush, if she wasn't interested in me. She didn't know anything about me. So definitely if you're talking to a girl and she's kind of giving off a weird vibe, she's kind of rude to you, you're not really enjoying the conversation, definitely just make the most of the conversation. And if she's not giving anything to you, just start thinking about the past conversations you had and just try not to let it get to you. I'm rushing as a junior. Any tips? This makes me so happy. That's one of my favorite DMs to get like during rush season is girls telling me that like they watch my videos, they watch me rush older, and that's why they decided to rush a little bit older, which makes me so happy. Honestly, rushing as an older student or in a higher grade can be very scary and kind of intimidating because you are going through rush with younger girls. Just keep your head up high. Definitely bring that up in rush. Like I said before, this is definitely something that you can bring up to kind of make you stand out. I want to say there were like 3 girls in this year's pledge class. Basically, pledge class means like the girls that are now part of your sorority, or member class. Some people call it member class, some people call it pledge class. A few of them were sophomores or juniors that joined. So I always look forward to it. I love talking to the girls during rush that were, you know, upcoming sophomores or upcoming juniors. I just thought it was so fun. I hope you have the best time. This one says, story time. Any bad/awkward experiences when you were a P&M? Yes, there's been a lot. That first conversation that I had with that house, that was pretty awkward. Also, the first day, the first house I ever walked into, I spilled water all over myself, and that was kind of embarrassing. I also cried in the middle of like a philanthropy round. I honestly did not like the sorority first round, but I got asked back for philanthropy, and I was like, okay. So go back for philanthropy, fell in love with the house, literally start bawling my eyes out because the philanthropy was just so beautiful. It was a very emotional week, okay? Anyways, I got dropped by them the next day and I was like, awkward. What did Pi Phi do after bid day? So after bid day, normally sororities will go on a thing called bid day retreat. Some sororities went to like Atlanta to watch like a baseball game or something and like spent the day there. Pi Phi personally, my year, we like went back to the house after like getting our bid day jerseys and everything. We went back to the house and like we had a dance competition and we like got to hang out with the girls that were active that kind of just finished rushing us to kind of get to know them. We went on a tour of the house, which was really fun because I ended up living in my sorority house the next year, so it was really fun to kind of see the rooms and everything before kind of considering moving in there. And then the next day, ours is like a 2-day process. The next day we went to, it was called like North River Yacht Club, and I think they had like a lunch or a brunch there for us. They had s'mores. We did like not golfing, but like, what is it called? It was like a hitting range, basically. They had like bunches of different activities, like card games, board games that we could do just to kind of bond as a member class. Basically, like all the girls that had just rushed Pi Phi. It was a lot of fun. It's so much fun. The bid day retreats, honestly, was one of my favorite memories. Is it okay to tell a chapter how much you love their house? Yes. If you love their house, if you love their sisterhood, their philanthropy, whatever, and you're just head over heels for that house, be sure to tell them. Do not just be like, oh, they probably know. They probably probably can read my mind. No. There are so many girls that I knew that they loved this house, but they never actually verbally expressed it. So the house really didn't have anything to kind of base their voting off of, where they didn't get back in that house that they really liked just because they assumed that they knew how she was feeling. So definitely, if you're loving a house, if you're loving 3 houses throughout the whole entire week, be sure to tell them. During the conversation, you can definitely tell the girl that's rushing you that you are so happy to be back here. You were so excited to see it on your schedule. This was the house that you wanted back. Something like that, I think I always did throughout Rush. I always let my top houses know that I was so thankful to be back. How much money is it, and is it worth all of the money? I think it is worth all of the money. The money aspect, it depends on the house that you get into and the university that you rush with in their sororities. I know Alabama, their sororities are very, very expensive. You can definitely go on like their personal website or like the Panhellenic website and kind of get a ballpark idea of how much you're going to be paying per semester. But I know at Bama you also have to have the meal plan, or at least that's how it is with Pi-Fi. You always have a meal plan there, so that also is like partially what you're paying for. But I've heard other girls like maybe they pay $200, $300 a semester, whereas with Bama you can be paying a few $1,000s a semester to be in a sorority. It also depends on what you get out of the sorority. Like if you're not going to the date parties, if you're not going to the sisterhood events, if you're not doing this with the sorority that you pay money to do, like we have obviously these sorority mansions on Sorority Row. If you're not going there and enjoying the amenities that it has, if you're not enjoying the meal plan, I definitely think that it's not worth the money. If you use the house, if you go there to hang out or study with friends, if you decide to live in 1 year, if you go to date parties, if you go to sisterhood events, if you go to philanthropy events, I think that it definitely is all worth it. Would you consider being a recruitment counselor? So basically, I think these at Bama are called like a rokai, and basically these girls that are like the sorority counselors will disaffiliate themselves from their sorority. So like me, I would have to disaffiliate myself from Pi Beta Phi and kind of just go into Rush and help these P&Ms go through Rush, but they wouldn't know what sorority I was in. At the beginning, I was like, oh, this would be so fun, but there's a lot of things that you have to do to be a recruitment counselor. By disaffiliation, you cannot have letters in your bio. Like I cannot have Pi Beta Phi in my bio. For me, since I'm a YouTuber, like I said, a lot of my content is sorority based, I would have to remove those videos to be a sorority counselor, and honestly I wasn't willing to do that. For me in my career, I couldn't really just disaffiliate myself, and honestly at this point, even if I did disaffiliate myself, I feel like people would still know because of my videos. Like I'm sure they've already seen some of my videos if they're going through Rush, or some of my pictures or something. Not everyone, but I feel like a lot of people would know, and I feel like that would just kind of give it away. Long story short, no, I probably wouldn't end up doing that, just because I want the girls to feel comfortable talking about any sorority and any of the problems that they're having to their rokai. How soon into Rush did you know you wanted to be a Pi-Phi? I knew from the first day of walking into Rush that I wanted to rush Pi-Phi. I talked to an amazing girl, Sydney. I was in between Pi-Phi in a different house the whole entire week. I thankfully ended up with them both for pref, which not everyone gets their top 2 choices for pref, so I knew that I was going to be happy in either house that I would have gotten on bid day, but I honestly really wanted Pi-Phi more. And I mean, the conversations at Pi-Phi just got better and better the more that I was there. I kept getting the same sort of vibe from the house. I was talking to different girls, but they all had the same values, the same love for their sorority, and it just made me fall in love with the sorority itself. Will I be outcasted if I don't like to party? No, you will not be outcasted, I promise you. That is a big stereotype that sororities get, that all they do is party, and that is definitely something that is false. That is so untrue, and honestly that deters a lot of girls from rushing a sorority because that's what they think they need to do. They think that they need to party and drink and do whatever, but honestly that is not an issue. No one pressures you into doing anything, and especially you can find girls in your sorority that have the same mindset and values as you. That was something else. Like a sorority normally is so large and has so many members that it's very easy to find girls in your same major, where yes, if you go out and look, obviously it's a college where if you go out and you try and find people who like to do that, you can definitely find that. Or if you just want to stay home and you want kind of girls night in, or you just want to go to a movie, kind of hang out in that way, you can definitely find that as well. Are you a legacy? No. So basically a legacy means that someone, I think it has to be like my mom or like my aunt or like grandmother or something, someone in my family basically has had to go go through recruitment and had to rush a sorority, aka it would have to be Pi Phi, for me to be a legacy. And no, I'm actually the first member of my family to ever go Greek, so that means that if I have a daughter, she would be a Pi Phi legacy because I am a Pi Phi and like I will graduate a Pi Phi, but I personally was not. And the last question, how do the buses work during rush? Okay, this is something that I did not know was a thing during rush. So at Bama, I'm not sure how it works at different universities, you will be traveling by bus. So we have a dorm called Tutwiler. That dorm is right next to Sorority Row. So those girls never rode the bus. They just walked over because I mean, it literally is right across the street. But for me, I was living in Prez and that was about a 25-minute walk. So the buses actually ran only for sorority rush, I believe. And they would pick you up from your dorm and bring you that morning to kind of your Rokai group and your girls that you're going to be rushing with and the houses on Sorority Row so you can kind of, you know, start your day for rush. Also, the buses took us sometimes to lunch, but sometimes the buses would get so packed that you had to just walk places to lunch, which sucked, especially when you have your hair and makeup done and you're trying to look fresh for these houses. It can be very, very hot. The buses were really there just to kind of drive you around to lunch, bring you back to your dorm at the end of the day, things like that, but I'm not sure how it works at other universities. Well guys, that was my rush Q&A/tips and tricks for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope that I answered some questions that you may have been wondering about. I hope that all of you, if you are going through sorority recruitment, that you have an amazing time. Remember to stay true to yourself. Do not change yourself just because of a house. I promise you that if you stay true to yourself, you stick with your values, you stick with your morals, you're going to end up in a house that you love. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to join the family, you can click that subscribe button also. I love you guys so much and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye!
'Cause you know that